Sup, everybody? It's your boy Deshaun, Average Joe Sports, Peach Bowl, post game. As we all know, the ride came to an end today for us dog fans. Huskies lost to Alabama, 24-7, and like I said in the vlog yesterday, in keys to the game, basically saying that the dogs ultimately had to play absolutely perfect. And if they didn't, it could be a long day. Well, on offense, they didn't play perfect. That's very true. Browning did not have his best game when the lights shined brightest. He threw for a touchdown early in the game, which was great, and then he threw an interception later on in the first half as well. And I mean, outside of that, from him and the offensive line, they weren't able to really set Browning up for any sort of success. The front four of Alabama just was able to overpower the front four for the University of Washington on the offensive side. I thought that was gonna play a key factor into the game because that was going to be again that war of attrition that I was in fact talking about. But I mean, outside of that, again, you look at the score, you would think. I mean, I think to the average fan, actually to the non-average fan, they go, "Well, Alabama dump truck the University of Washington." That's actually not true. In fact, the Husky defense gave Alabama quite a few fits. They were also able to get to Alabama's quarterback, and also they were able to make a lot of key stops. This game was played on a lot of 3-and-outs, and special teams on both sides actually played a definite role into both the success for Alabama and to some degree to success for University of Washington. I mean, the third quarter was where Alabama really started to open it up, and again, that's more on the sense of the defense wasn't given a lot of time to take any sort of rest. It seemed like once the Husky offense got the ball, it was pretty much 3-and-out. I mean, but at the same time, as much as I'm disappointed by the loss, of course, I'm also extremely proud to be a Husky fan, especially this season. We as fans, this is the one time I get to say we as fans, we sat through a dark decade and a half of Husky football. I mean, we had the new Heisel thing going into Gilby, and Gilby didn't want to actually be a head coach. It's to going 0-12 with Tyler Willingham, to the short stint with Steve Sarkisian, and now to going through the beginnings of what I think is going to be a great set of years with Chris Peterson. I think things are going to be great. Again, at the beginning of the season, if you had told me Dogs are going to finish 11-1 in the regular season, I'm sorry, finish 12-1 in the regular season, but you're going to lose to Alabama in the Peach Bowl, I would have said you were out of your mind. Number one, I was anticipating the Dogs, getting a decent bowl game, and being a dark horse in the Pac-12 title race, of course. But I wasn't expecting 12-1. And some of you guys are gonna go, why aren't you counting the Alabama game, making them 12-2? I have a personal opinion about counting bowl games as a part of your regular season tally. And again, some people will go, what about the caveat of, Pac-12 title game, that's next game too. But that is actually a game that is on the regular season schedule. It's just you have to win your half of the conference in order to get to the Pac-12 title game. That's why. That's actually part of the season schedule for everybody. They just have to qualify to get there. Whereas bowl games, if you don't have enough wins in some cases, you don't get to go to bowl games. So that's why it's an extra game. Bowl games are basically glorified exhibition games, minus the fact that there's something on the line in the sense that there's a trophy. But unlike the Pro Bowl in the NFL, but that's a whole other story for another time. But again, it's been a great season, and it's been a great ride just watching the Dogs, go through this season. Things that I was most impressed by were the Dogs' willingness to stay in tough games. This game in particular, don't let the fact that the Dogs only scored 7 points deter you and make it seem like the Dogs didn't do a damn thing and they just because they struggled. But at the same time, you look at the final score; they only scored 24 points. One of those touchdowns was on an interception. Okay, so let's look at that as well. That was only on an interception. Without that interception, the game is only 17-7. I mean, think about that for a second. The Husky defense in particular held Alabama to 17 points. I mean, that's amazing. I don't think really any. Well, no, except for LSU because that game was scoreless going into the fourth quarter, and then Alabama finally pulled it out of their butts and got that final touchdown to win a game. I think it was like 7-0 or 14-0 or something like that. So yeah, keeping it close against Alabama was actually fairly impressive, and I think even the most diehard Alabama fan was probably a little nervous for the main part of that game until they got the interception. They were able to score one more touchdown in the third quarter on offense against a tired Husky defense. Again, that defense worked so hard, so hard. So again, I couldn't be more proud than I am right now to be a Husky fan. And again, as a person who sat through the 0-12 season, and that was a heartbreak because it hurt to just go to the games because you knew that your team was just going to lose and there was nothing you could do about it. But taking this ride has been amazing. But like all good things, they have to come to an end sometime. But I take a little bit of solace in this. In comparison to the Clemson Ohio State game, Ohio State got dump trucked, plain and simple. They looked like a team that was deer in the headlights. So I mean, at least our Dogs were able to score 7 points at the end of the day. I will probably do a best of in the sense of looking at the Husky season as a whole in a later vlog, possibly on Facebook Live. But things that I noticed that I saw improvements from the previous season going into this season. Again, willingness to stay in games at tough times, and also winning on the road. That was something that had been a problem with the Dogs in past seasons. So, I guess the next question is really what's next. We've got a few players on the team that are eligible for the NFL draft. We got a few people who are graduating as well. My concern is with the juniors that are waiting. I think some of them are actually going to declare, but I think some of them may stick around because they got a taste of the national title race. Being in the Final Four. So I think that might be just enough to keep some of those guys back on the team and overall improving the team. Because the problem with having teams like this is players are going to want to go to the NFL draft because they got to go. Some people want to go get that money. And again, this is America. Go get that money. Go get that money, young fellas. Go get that money because it's not going to be there forever. So you got to seize the moment when you can get it. So again, if John Ross goes, okay, I respect that. I do. And because we got Gaskin for another year. We have, I don't know about McClatcher. Again, I'll go through more of this one when I do a full season vlog here. But yeah, it all depends on what the juniors are going to do. Are they going to stay or are they going to go? I hope a lot of them stay because I think if a lot of those people stay, we'll have the same type of season like we did this year, and I think there'll be one more year wiser and one more year more prepared, and maybe what. I'll come out and say it next year. If it comes down to 1 versus 4 against Bama again, I think the Dogs have a definite shot this time because they know what they did wrong and they know they'll have a better way of preparing. I did kind of feel that at points that they were just happy to be there, and which is great because the Dogs haven't been in a national title race since 2000, where they got screwed by Miami. But again, that's another story for another time. And yeah, so I think there might have just been some just kind of being starstruck and not being used to being in that sort of spotlight. I think with being one more season wiser, I think they'll be a lot more prepared. So yeah, again, I've wasted about 10.5 minutes of your time talking about the game. Again, Dogs lose 24-7 to to Alabama. Again, great season, despite the fact that our team did come up short. So again, I'm proud to be a Dog today. I'm proud to be a Dog every day, but especially today. So on to next season. Go Dogs. Let's win another Pac-12 title. This is your boy Deshaun. Peace out.